Welcome back to the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Today is Wednesday, January 8th, 2020. This is the evening edition of the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Right now, let's take a look at space weather. Our solar wind speeds are coming in at 433.8 kilometers per second with a density of 1.5. Still, believe it or not, they are not reporting this as a sunspot on the star right now. It does not have the qualifications that meet the sunspot. And I'm talking about over there in the eastern limb. The one in the middle is now decayed out. It is no longer a sunspot. Even though it has a bright region, it still does not carry the characteristics needed for it to be a legit sunspot. So right now, today is the first day without sunspots. It only took 8 days of January, but hey, we got it. So minimum roll on, as we say. And also looking at the star right now, we see a couple of minor coronal holes that are starting to develop. One in the equatorial region, very small, but a couple more in the northern part of our star as well. And also we had a non-Earth facing CME, and you know, a lot of folks believe even though it's non-Earth facing, it still carries effects. Now, I believe that to be true as far as affecting the magnetic field and everything like that. That could be a very high possibility. So lots of going on here with the sun. We have some bright active regions that are not sunspots. We got some small coronal holes starting to become more common once again. We haven't seen a lot of coronal holes here lately, but now we are starting to see the corona weakening as we speak. TCI coming in at 2.83, same as it was this morning, and the KP indices jumped up a little bit to 2 with a 24-hour max of a 3. Let's go over to the grandsolarminimum.com and our space weather station here. And what we are looking at in this image is what we can expect over the next few days. As you see right here, there is our departing, that one in the northern region here. That is also considered to be part of solar cycle 25. This is a new and emerging sunspot, not yet numbered, but this is showing it live as we speak. There is the one that's decayed out. This one right here has not been labeled, and I don't know what that line is. So we'll just pretend that's a computer glitch. Mari and I both were like, what is that? Okay. And if you guys want a better look at it here on the grandsolarminimum.com on our space weather page section, you just simply go over here. Let's zoom it in. It's got to be some kind of anomaly from the satellite. But maybe that's a question we can ask Lee Wheelbarger on Friday night, because after all, he does have a lot of experience with plasma physics. Not that he's a plasma physicist, but he has spent several hours researching plasma. So maybe we'll ask him, and this very well could just be a lens artifact off of the satellite as well. So, all right, let's get right into some of the weather headlines. Are you raising your hand?
I'm just stretching, dude.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you had a question. This is not class. All right, this is a news report. Blake hits Western Australia. New tropical system forming near Northern Territory expected to make landfall between Menegrita and Crocker Island. Now, we all been talking about Australia, about the rain or the lack of the rain and all the brush fires. Some people try to say it's climate change. Others are now coming forward with stories that are confirming the arrest of over almost 200 people right now as well for setting these fires deliberately all over Australia. And then, if you guys remember that strong stratospheric sudden warming that we had, or sudden stratospheric warming we had earlier, a lot of people are saying that has a lot to do with the dry and warm conditions in Australia. So it makes sense to me. But let's read on here. Tropical cyclone Blake has decayed to a tropical low shortly after making landfall and continued moving southwest. The system is expected to move over Pilbara, southwest Sandy Desert, and northwest areas of Salt Lake districts. Persistent monsoonal rains and thunderstorm activity is also expected to continue in the northwest Kimberley today, with heavy falls possible. In 24 hours on January 8th, Yari received 4.3 inches of rain and 3.1 inches in Ripon Hill Road, and Marble Bar saw 3 inches today. Just today. Ex-tropical cyclone Blake was located approximately 60 miles east of Port Hedland, moving southwest at 3 miles per hour. The system is expected to be in the vicinity of Marble Bar during the evening, and Nullagine, I'm going to go with Nullagine. All right. Mari, use that emoji when it sounds like I mess up.
I'm showing people the Greta and Gore
whenever
emoji.
I make a mispronunciation, Mari has made a emoji. If you're a member, you have to join the Grand Solar Minimum channel here on YouTube. For $1.99, it gives you special, kind of like the Patreon. You get perks for being at certain levels, but you will get access to the emojicons, the new ones. And Mari is now displaying the emojicon that is displayed when I mispronounce a city. So anyway, Nullagine, which is I'm going with, during the late evening on early Thursday, it'll start moving in a generally south direction. Heavy rain and localized flooding is expected over the coming days in the areas of the Sandy Desert, Pilbara, and Salt Lake districts. As tropical low moves south-southeast, forecast rainfall for the next 24 hours is 3 to 4 inches, with isolated areas that could see 8 inches of rain. Possible from the DeGray River catchment extending over the upper Fortescue River into the southwestern areas of Sandy Desert and the northwestern areas of Salt Lake districts. Forecasted rainfall in the affected catchments is expected to result in river rises, areas of flooding, and adversely impact road conditions. Some roads may become impassable and communities linked by minor roads may become isolated. So good news to see rain in parts of Australia. We'll take a look at the GFS and see if that'll continue and help put these fires out. Meanwhile, one dead as violent cloudburst triggers flood in Nahara, Israel. This happened on Wednesday, January 8th, led to widespread flooding in which one person lost his life. The second severe storm within a week following the first one on January 4th. If you also remember, we reported that as well. And more of the same as far as what happened here. According to the police, a man was carried away by floodwaters by attempting to rescue passengers in an overturned vehicle. His body was retrieved later by an emergency services. None of the passengers sustained major injuries, the police added. So his efforts did not go in vain. God bless you. Around 100 students were trapped at an elementary school, according to local news. They told us that it was impossible to come pick up the kids. There's no way for us to get to the school. One mother of the trapped students said, and then military vehicles came in to rescue the students. So that's good stuff there. Dozens of dogs were also rescued from an animal shelter in the city. The mayor, Ronan Marley, remarked the preparations for the storm were taken prior to the devastating event. The city is cut off. There is a natural disaster here. The river can't hold all this water. And I'm surprised I haven't seen this before yet. And I'll just skim through it. No, I don't see it yet. But still, once again, more rain, more flooding, same region, 4 days later. I want to thank the watchers for their continuous efforts here on bringing us worldwide weather and natural disaster event information. Why does this happen? Cloudbursts, these flooding, cosmic rays, that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's it. All right. Record heavy blizzard engulfs parts of Newfoundland, Canada. Check it out, guys. 2 major storms in a fortnight plus heavy winds and snow have buried parts of Newfoundland, Canada. Under a thick blanket of snow on Wednesday, January 8th, over 3.3 feet of snow has fallen over Avalon in 2 weeks, while St. John saw the deepest snow in 6 days in 6 years. Saw its deepest snow day in 6 years.
Easy for you to
on January 7th, 2020, 2.3 feet of inches, or 2.3 feet of snow on the ground. All right, let's hit the reset button here. Clink, clink. Jeez. It's been a long day for me, folks. Bear with me. Apologize. Wind speeds reportedly traveled up to 50 miles per hour across the province, according to the Weather Network. WestJet flight from Toronto skidded off the tracks on Sunday, January 5th, while landing in Halifax due to poor weather conditions. No injuries were reported. The system was also responsible for canceled flights, vehicle collisions, and power outages. On Monday morning, January 6th, thousands were left without power due to heavy blowing snow. According to St. John's weather records, the city had 2.3 feet of snow on Tuesday, January 7th, breaking the deepest snow day record previously held in January 12th, 2014. My, oh my. The similarities from this year, from January of 2014. And I say this because we had the polar vortex outbreak around the 12th of January in 2014. Also, we're seeing the same weather patterns because of that warming in the Northeast Pacific. So very similar situations. Are we going to see more of the same? Well, obviously, we broke a record today on the snow. And this is in Canada, guys. Wait till you see the picture I've got set up for us here for in Turkey. Just absolutely beautiful winter pictures. It is January. It's here. And it's Canada. You know, this is what they're used to, eh? All that coverage made simple activities like walking a chore for some people. Environment Canada had most of Newfoundland under weather warnings, with the winter storm warning working its way through the western and central areas as it heads further east. According to Newfoundland and Labour English school districts, several schools have closed early due to the weather. Between 6 to 12 inches is expected for western and central areas through Thursday, January 9th, along with strong gusty winds. And getting a look at the snow precipitation that we are expecting here through the middle part of January. And I'll show you that, guys, as well at the end of the broadcast. Widespread floods and landslides hit Turkey. Huge amounts of snow at higher elevations. All right, I got to show you now. Sorry. Look at that. This is in the higher elevations, Turkey. Absolutely stunning. And what is that? 4 feet on the roofs? So we go from Canada to Turkey in the higher elevations. You know power is out. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous, guys. But at the same time, scary. Those snow drifts are halfway up some of these huts. Torrential rains have been battering Turkey for days and beginning Monday, January 6, 2020, disrupting daily life in parts of the country as the downpour sparked widespread flash floods and landslides, claiming at least 2 lives. Extreme weather conditions led to heavy traffic, travel delays, power outages, and road closures. Huge amounts of snow were also reported in the higher elevations. Let's go ahead and talk about the snow. First of all, the SU added that the province received, let's see, what province are we talking about here? Well, this particular area got 6.5 inches of rain in 24 hours. And of course, heavy snow was reported in the higher elevations. Flood swept across the districts of Metzli, Unishir, Toroslar, and Akdines, as well as the neighboring province of Antalya, where some homes were evacuated. The main road connecting to Antalya to Konya was closed for 12 hours due to heavy snow. You see all the I mean, geez, look at this. Crop damage for sure. Cars being swept away like they're just little Matchbox toys. Look at that. It looks like a parking garage underwater. And then the high amounts of snow. Can we get a total on the snow here? I kind of find it hard to believe. Lots of rain fell, 4 to 6 inches in a lot of areas out here. Well, this is going to drive me crazy. They don't report one piece of evidence for how much snow we had here. Wow. Okay. I'll have to get the answer to that. Mari, why don't you do me a favor there?
I'm doing it. I'm already on it, Dave.
So you get the higher amounts of snow. This picture here, though, says it all. I mean, yeah, those are snow drifts. But also, look at the rooftops, where you're probably talking about waist-high snow, possibly, at least past the knees.
Was that article in feet and not meters? Is that a typo or like? I thought that you said someone said something in chat. I wasn't paying attention because I was reading.
Well, the 2.3 feet of snow is what I was talking about in our last article here. I don't think that was meters. That was feet. And I'll go back to the top. I know some people hate that. Yeah, 2.3 feet of snow on Tuesday, and that's in St. John's. And then there was 3.3 feet of snow had fallen in Avalon in 2 weeks. So,
is that's not a recent article though.
It's not.
Well, I mean, it's from 2 days ago.
Well, that's part of it, yeah.
50 centimeters is what they were saying.
Well, so this is an update then, because 2.3 feet of snow is what's fallen in that area
I'm gonna look
since that article. So that's
number.
So anyway, we'll try to come up with a stat of how much snow is in Turkey. I'm kind of embarrassed I didn't have that for you guys. I apologize here. But even on severeweather.eu does not mention any amount of totals or anything like that. So, not just shame on us, but come on, guys. Give us these wonderful pictures. But how much snow is that? We'll take a guess, right? We'll start a poll here. Start in the chat. How many feet do you think this is here, guys? And if you win, whoever gets closest to the amount will send you some cookies in the email. So everybody loves email cookies. German Greens use climate emergency declarations to jail deniers. Oh yeah, it's that time again. Solar energy publication in Germany has demanded that politicians use climate emergency declarations as justification to punish climate saboteurs, people who undermine climate action by trivializing with the emergency with their climate denial. Okay, so everybody in the chat knows that we are experiencing climate change. There's no denying that. Everybody also in this chat believes in climate change by solar cycles. In other words, the sun drives the climate. Man has very little to do with what's happening right now. This is all the sun, baby. Downplaying the climate catastrophe endangers human survival. Do we have to accept that? Why the trivialized must not hide behind the fundamental right of freedom of expression. Misleading alleged studies or scandal news are still spreading worldwide. Now, this is the propaganda. This is coming from Germany. Because peer-reviewed papers, in my opinion, and all these studies that are coming out would not be accepted unless they went through the long process of approval. When you get your paper published as a peer review, it's pretty legit. But here, Germany, they're the deniers. They're the ones rejecting the new research. Misleading alleged studies or scandal news are still spreading worldwide, the purpose of which to sow doubts about scientifically proven warnings from climate scientists. No, not at all. So, Germany, you're lying out your ass. For example, it has been claimed that climate scientists are exaggerating the extent and risk of global warming, which they are, in order to secure their jobs and receive more research funding. Where have we heard that before? Must be listening to my channel. Because that's why. That's why they're doing this. You're damn right. They're trying to make this is a cash grab right now. They're trying to suck out as much as they can before it's too late. And the governments around the world know that this global warming CO2 is just a big hack job, basically. The aim of such misleading contributions to continue fossil energy generation and economic activity for as long as possible. The background section is more in detail below. The damage these fake messages do is immeasurable because their camouflage is perfect. Even readers with good basic knowledge of natural science cannot recognize the untrustworthiness of these cleverly prepared fake messages. I don't think so. Nothing fake about the messages that comes from people like our channels. And everything else too. This sounds like Germany is in huge denial. This is damage control. We're trying to reel people back in by labeling our stuff as fake. At the suggestion of Friday's future demonstrators, Constance was the first German city to call the climate emergency a rather symbolic act, but it shows what would be needed. Mayor Burkhardt said that from now on, all decisions pending in town council must be assessed in terms of climate protection. At the same time, he called on federal government to improve the legal framework for climate protection measures. It is important not only in Constance, but everywhere in Germany, everyone should come to their front door, and finally worldwide, to avert the danger of to the best of their knowledge and belief. In the event of a climate catastrophe, the natural sciences provide the best knowledge, but not the trivialists. I guess that's us. We're skeptics. What the skeptics can do can be called sabotage, and sabotage emergency measures should be punished. They're calling it sabotage because it's sabotaging their income. Yeah. No change to the basic law is necessary, just further provision in the general laws here in criminal code, something like this. Anyone who skeptics or prevents the climate catastrophe defense against the climate catastrophe according to the fake Paris Climate Agreement and its follow-up agreements, denies or prevents climate catastrophe, will be fined up to 300 daily rates. In the event of a repeat sentence, the sentence is imprisonment. I'm glad I don't live in Germany. Given all this green talk, WW2 style mobilizations to address climate crisis, I guess it was only a matter of time until someone had suggested imprisonment for people who sabotaged the war effort with their criticism, including scientists who criticized the work of their alarmist colleagues. I found an article, Fox News, that's talking about some of the biggest claims that's been made that are come out to be hoaxes, and the number one thing they listed was the climate emergency. The climate emergency. We've been lied to, and they pointed out parts where we've been lied to and the truth has not been told. Again, thanks to What's Up With That for this unfortunate article, but guys, this is how scary the greenies are getting overseas. I'm going to throw you in jail if you talk like me. If you recite anything from this channel, you'll go to jail. You'll get fined, then you'll go to jail the next time you do it. Wow, glad I don't live in Germany. All right, let's take a look at our U.S. forecast. And actually, before we do that, just because we've got fires burning, let's go ahead and check out Australia and see if we are going to get some needed rain. I want to make them priority tonight. So here is the radar for the land down under. And I'm going to move this around a little bit. Not enough rain. I can tell you right now, we got lots of scattered rain. Maybe here on the 15th, 14th, some scattered rain across the lands. The southern part does see off and on showers around the 15th of January. Move that up just a little bit. More chances of rain on the 15th. That cyclone moving away from land, good thing. Good little pressure on that. We could see some rains, folks, that could help these fires. Not completely, but also the GFS thinks there's a storm approaching the eastern part of Australia. So that's a good thing too, is that could bring some more rains to help with the fire effort. So we are starting to see the rain. It's been very, very, very dry over there, but indications that we will see some rain in areas that could help with that fire issue they have out there. All right, let's go all the way back. This is a tricky forecast. This changes daily, guys, these models, but I think the one thing we can say in consideration here is that we are on our way for a bumpy ride here for the rest of January, starting on the 15th, 16th of January, as we have a couple of storms. And here's the first one. This one's going to be a soaker, guys. The Mississippi River is already preparing for flood stage. This is why. More rain in the same spots. This is Saturday. You got the ice storm behind it. More snow in Canada than anything. And the U.S. is absorbing all the rain. But this storm, this low pressure system, if it tracks a little bit further south or a little bit further north, is the difference between a serious icing issue for the entire Northeast or just an all rain event. And right now we're on that fine line where half and half of the Northeast could see some serious icing, and the other half will just get plain old rain. Well, let's move through as the cold front comes through. That storm pushes off. Notice more moisture coming out of the Gulf affecting the southeast. Another system trying to get its act together by the 15th of January. Here's where our bumpy ride begins. This is storm number 1, just affecting the northern parts of the Northeast. More rain in the south. And watch this, guys, especially in this area right here, okay? Watch this storm really develop. So Oklahoma, Texas, sleet, ice, some snow. And I really feel like GFS is incomplete. I think there's more things that are going to be happening where this pink ice area is going to be. Look at the Northwest. Heavy snow. We're talking about 14 feet of snow in the Cascades. And then January 18th. This has got to be one of the weirdest, things I've seen on the GFS. But finally, this storm finally acts like it's going to organize by the 18th, 19th. And this is going to be a mainly rain event. But look at this. Same areas. Heavy rain. Watch. Mississippi. Ohio River. And guys, notice this pattern. This circular motion from the Gulf. The Gulf is feeding the moisture in the storm. This storm could turn into a nasty one. I mean, look at the size of this thing. This radar is indicating that we are looking at a storm that could be, this area could be filling the gap as well, or this could be another low pressure system. Let's move through and see. Yeah, boom, one more time, January 22nd. More rain for the Mississippi River. Already saturated with 2 storms prior to this one. Heavy, heavy rain, look at that. So the South, Midwest, lots of rain for Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, Missouri, Mississippi, Louisiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York. Massive storm here to affect the Northeast, but the way the ridging is, according to this GFS run, it's going to stay all rain. More snow for Canada. And then by January 23rd, look at how much cold air we're seeing all over the United States. Folks who are saying that we're not going to get a winter, here you go. This is going to be below freezing. I'll show you the temps too. And then as we get to January 24th, another system. Look at all of this moisture down here, guys. Good grief. So what is causing all this? Why do we continue to see these storms fire up in the same area, heavy rain over and over and over again? I said this a couple nights ago. We need a Greenland block more than anything right now. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. Right now, we have lots of high pressure in the middle of the Atlantic. And this high pressure is causing this counterclockwise rotation of moisture to be fed from the Gulf. Watch here. Here's the high pressure system that comes off on the 10th. Now look at the worst of this storm. Okay, if you see this high pressure system out here in the middle, it's pulling moisture from here through the Gulf, through the tropics, into the United States. And you're saying to yourself, well, why is it so heavy over land? All I can say is cosmic rays that are high in abundance with already natural particulates that are in the atmosphere, whether it's man-made or natural. Remember, cosmic rays act like magnets for these particulates and water vapor droplets. So we've got this high pressure system moving counterclockwise here in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, bringing all this moisture in, okay? This is January 11th. Check this out. That storm goes, pushes off. That high pressure stays down there and is rotating more moisture from the tropics to the Gulf. Look at this, another storm on the 16th of January. Again, a high pressure system is hanging out down here near the Florida Keys, and it's pulling moisture and it's keeping it lower. Low pressure system setting up here. But once we get another high pressure system in the middle of the Atlantic, look what happens. Same situation by the 19th. This is pulling moisture from the tropics and the Gulf and merging, making it heavy precipitation. All right. We're seeing a pattern here. Whenever we get high pressure in the middle of the Atlantic, we see this rotational effect here. So as long as we see high pressure sitting in the middle of the Atlantic, it's going to continue to generate moisture from the Gulf into the United States. And man, I mean, look at this. Tons of moisture to the southeast expected for February. So not only in here are we going to see some flooding from all the rain, we're going to see some more flooding over here too by early February. Early February, this whole area in the south and southeast is going to be a mess by mid-February, late February, if this keeps up. Right now, the pattern to me doesn't show any signs of letting up. And then we got to worry about heavy snows coming in February and March. I do believe winter is getting its act together. Let's go back and take a look at our temperatures in the lower 48. And as I was talking about this cold air, as we get towards the closer to the middle of the month, we will see colder air trying to work its way in from Canada. This is the 7th, our first blast of Arctic air going on right now. Actually, I can tell here in the Northeast, it's definitely a lot colder today. There is definitely an Arctic chill for sure in the wind chill tonight. We're talking about wind chills in the negatives for parts of upstate New York. And then Friday it's going to warm back up in the Northeast as that ridging, as we talk about the ridge and the fridge, the yin and yang. Look at this. Perfect example. Here comes that second blast of cold Arctic air within 3 days. That will press down into the northern plains and into the Northeast and the Northwest. So on top of all that snow you guys are getting, you're going to get some really cold air as well. Look at this. This is by Tuesday, January 14th. Watch out. Montana, Idaho, and Oregon. A little bit of another ridge and fridge here on the 15th. But that cold Arctic air from Canada, man, it's pretty much forcing itself down in the U.S. and it's winning. Here we are on the 17th. This is where I said winter is going to get really bumpy. We've got a lot of Arctic air trying to push down from Canada. Another ridge and fridge by the 20th. More cold air. So the northern plains are really going to feel it. The Northeast and the Northwest also going to feel it. And so far we are taking the brunt of winter's punch so far of cold air. But this polar Arctic air does not act like it's going to leave anytime soon. As you can see, by January 24th, much of the nation will be in freezing or below. And then I wanted to show this interesting stat as well. Check out how much snow we are going to have by the 24th. And I know this is some kind of ridiculous claim, but I'm going to make it. There will be snow in every state in the lower 48 by the end of January. I don't care if it's just an inch. The Panhandle of Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California. Not the whole state, but you're getting snow. And for my friends and family in Southwest Dayton, Ohio, it's like you guys have a snow force field. That's got to be an error. But it's indicating that all the snow is going to fall around you, not on you. Insane. And serious high amounts of snow in northern Maine, talking about 40 inches possible. And after what I showed you on this radar, we've got some serious weather. That's what I'm saying, guys. If this storms trek a little bit further south, and the way this cold air is pushing down, it's possible these storms could change, and you're talking about bringing the Northeast into some serious snowfall. Right now, in the Albany region of New York, they're talking about 13 inches by the 24th. So that's over a foot of snow. Right now, we've got a coating to an inch on the ground. So lots of good stuff on the way to talk about. Winter is definitely here. Maybe a little bit of a late start, but let's remember October brought us snow. November brought us snow. December was just an average winter month. January was plain Jane to start, but we are starting to see that Arctic cold and winter weather starting to move this way here in the United States. Now, I know that is not the case here. A lot of folks belly aching. Look, here's your snow forecast in Europe. We're starting to see more snow in Europe. The UK still ain't here. Northern parts of Scotland, yes, you'll see your snow. And Wales and the UK in the northern part, very, very little in Britain. England and Ireland will see some snow in the northern parts. And right now, that's just how it's starting. I mean, this is only till January 24th, guys. We still got February and March And yeah, April, we'll see some snow, definitely. So that's going to do it for me tonight. Mari, did you have any messages for our wonderful chat group out there before we sign off tonight?
As always, we have a wonderful time in the chat. I have been perfecting the emojis. People like the Greta and Al Gore emoji. I think the Greta is probably the winner out of the emojis. And I zoomed in your face a little bit more, Jake. So if you do the Jake icon, it's just like sort of a oopsie face.
Wow.
So you had a lot of oopsies today, but overall,
when I hit the reset button, I feel like everything went, all right, let's get it.
Yeah, it got better. So I feel like it's a Monday, but it's a Wednesday. One of those things. So I don't have a lot to report in the chat. I got Knife Collector and Richard, Judy, Melody, Hexafus, Arnold Schmidt, Lee, Will.
Hello, Lee. Good to see you, bud.
So yeah, we loved your show last night.
We watched your coverage of the crisis last night. So
that was nice.
Thank you for the information.
Dog Patch, Sue Hayes. So
Richard. Did you say Richard?
I think I said Richard in the
Hello,
beginning.
Richard.
It's hard to get
There's a lot out here, man.
There is.
Arnold, hello. Good to see you. And I've seen you over at Lee's channel a lot, so nice of you to stop by and say hello. Brian Foltz, good to see you in the chat as well. AF Team, longtime subscriber of ours. And I think that's pretty much it. So, yeah, if you ain't got nothing else, then I got nothing else.
No, I did roll out the GSM Love discount on our Teespring shop. So
great.
If you go to our Teespring store, I have links pretty much everywhere for a Teespring shop, especially on our website. So the code is GSM Love for 15% off most items in the shop. So definitely check it out.
And Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, we will have Lee Wheelbarger on the program. We are going to talk about Grand Solar Minimum and the events that we are witnessing all over the world. And I'm sure he's going to have some interesting commentary about the, the earthquakes in Puerto Rico. Lee has been concerned with that area and that plate before. So we will pick his brain a little bit on Friday night at 9 p.m. Guys, feel free to ask questions in the chat when Lee is on. That's mainly why we bring him on, because we value his knowledge about Grand Solar Minimum and the sun and everything that's related to that. So make sure you guys, if you guys have any questions that maybe we haven't answered for you, now would be a good time to get them out there, as Lee and I will be going live Friday night, 9 p.m. For a broadcast and doing some Grand Solar Minimum news, but mainly just having a GSM discussion, actually. So that's going to do it for us tonight, guys. Thank you for tuning in to the Grand Solar Minimum channel again. We will talk again in the morning as we do our Thursday morning update, and then we will see you Friday in the morning and in the evening. Until then, we will talk soon, guys. Have a great night.
Do you like this show? Give us a thumbs up. Want to support us more? Share to your favorite social media platform. Buy a t-shirt or become a Patreon. All links are in the description below.